So what are the easiest fonts for kids to read? Font choices should always be driven by function, subject matter, and target audience. Many fonts are not easy for kids to read or write, and this can suppress reading development or writing development. Many times authors think that illustration and the artwork within a book is the most essential item, but in fact, your actual text is the most important factor. When kids learn to read or to learn letters, they'll start from recognizing each character one by one. It's a frustrating process, and that's their first encounter with reading and writing. A font that is difficult to read or that differs too much from what children are learning in the classroom can be really confusing and frustrating. Once children start recognizing each character, they try and put it together, but if the font is complicated, too decorative, it'll be difficult for the words to flow. Fancy and complex fonts will cause confusion. So let's go over some of the basic rules for inserting font into a children's book. The first thing you want are round counters. So simple, friendly shapes, rounded shapes. Avoid counters that are rectangular or narrow. You want a wider typeface that offers better readability for the kids. You want a font that mimics the way that they would write the characters when they are first learning to write. So something that is more in the style of a handwriting that a child would learn at school. The second thing you want to look at is using infant characters. So basically, an example of this is for very young readers, the design should be one story A's or G's as opposed to two stories. Okay, the next rule is to make sure that the font is legible. Don't have decorative typefaces. You might think it makes your book look more fun, and on occasion you could do it for maybe one or two letters or words. For instance, if it portrays an action like bam or boo, you could possibly use that, but generally avoid decorative typefaces. Many times we confuse overly decorated fonts as being childish and cute and therefore appropriate for kids' books, but this just causes confusion and overwhelms a child who's learning to read. The next rule is to make sure that the font is large enough for children to read. When designing your book, you should be looking at your text layout first before you consider your illustrations. You want to make sure that the text is not too small. This is a general rule in most typography, is to make sure that you're using sentence cases and not writing in all caps. Using all caps perhaps for a title of your book is acceptable, but generally within the pages you want to use sentence case. Pay attention to your font's weight. Your weight and your width of the font has direct impact on easy reading. Fonts that are too bold or too thin, too condensed, are less readable than a medium-sized font. When considering your target audience, you need to also consider whether your children that will be reading your book are going to be kids with special needs. There are fonts that you can use in your books for children with disabilities. I generally use those anyway because I don't want to exclude children with disabilities from reading my books. Research has shown that different typefaces can influence reading speed. I think it's as much as 30%. which is insane. For now, enjoy your writing journey, and I'll leave links below on some articles that might be helpful, and also some links to the best fonts. Have fun and enjoy.